It is the jewel of the solar system, a swirling masterpiece of amber, white, and ochre. From a distance, it looks like a work of abstract art, a silent marble floating in the dark. But do not be deceived by the beauty. This is not a painting, it is a storm. If you were to approach this world, you would not find peace. You would find the most violent environment in our stellar neighborhood. Jupiter is not just a planet, it is a monster, draped in silk. To understand the horror, you must first understand the scale. Jupiter is the king. You could fit 1,300 Earths inside of it. In fact, you could take every other planet in the solar system. Saturn, Neptune, Mars, all of them, and combine them into a ball. And Jupiter would still be 2.5 times more massive. It dominates the gravity of our system so completely that the Sun does not orbit the center of the solar system. It orbits a point just outside its surface, pulled by the weight of Jupiter. It is a failed star, reigning over a kingdom of gas. But long before you touch the clouds, the planet tries to kill you. Jupiter is surrounded by an invisible lethal ocean, the magnetosphere. The planet spins so fast that it whips its magnetic field into a frenzy, accelerating particles to nearly the speed of light. It is a cosmic particle accelerator. If a human were to float near the moon Io without heavy shielding, the radiation would cook them in minutes. It is the loudest radio object in the sky after the sun. It screams into the void. And then there is the eye. The great red spot. It looks like a calm red circle, but it is an anticyclone wider than the entire planet Earth. Winds here scream at 400 miles per hour. It has been raging for at least 300 years. Generations of humans have been born, lived, and died, while this single storm has continued to spin. It generates so much acoustic energy, so much sound, that it actually heats the atmosphere above it. It is a storm that roars. So, what happens if you visit? On Mars, you can stand on the dirt. On Venus, you can land on rock. But on Jupiter, there is no ground. Imagine you are wearing an indestructible suit. You step out of your spaceship in the upper atmosphere, and you let go. There will be no splash. There will be no thud. You will simply fall. You will fall for days. You will fall until the pressure crushes you into a diamond. You will fall until you become part of the planet. Let us begin the descent. You begin your fall in the upper deck. Here, the clouds are not made of water. They are made of ammonia ice. It is a freezing white wasteland. The temperature is a staggering -145 degrees Celsius. If you could smell the air through your helmet, it would sting. It smells like a cleaning closet, sharp, chemical, and suffocating. But as you fall, the white clouds fade away. The sky turns a bruised brown, then a deep midnight blue. You're entering the twilight zone. The sun is gone now. The thick atmosphere above you has swallowed the light. You are now falling in the dark. The only light comes from the lightning, but this is not Earth lightning. These bolts are thousands of times more powerful than anything on our planet. They tear through the gloom, illuminating a world of crushing pressure. At this depth, the weight of the atmosphere feels like being at the bottom of the ocean. Your suit is groaning under the strain, but you still haven't hit the water. This is where human intuition fails. We are used to boundaries. On Earth, there is a clear line where the air ends and the ocean begins. You splash. On Jupiter, there is no splash. As you fall deeper, the gas just gets thicker and thicker and thicker, until it becomes a hot, dense soup. Physics calls this a supercritical fluid. You are no longer falling through air. You are floating in a substance that is neither gas nor liquid, but both. You have been swallowed by the planet without ever touching a surface. Now the pressure is so intense that it breaks the laws of chemistry. You have reached the metallic hydrogen ocean. Under this crushing weight, hydrogen atoms are squeezed so tight that they lose their electrons. The gas turns into a liquid metal. It conducts electricity. It flows like mercury. You are swimming in a blindingly hot silver sea that generates the magnetic field of the beast. This is the largest ocean in the solar system, and it is made of liquid wire. And in this crushing darkness, there is a fortune. The atmosphere is rich in carbon. As soot falls from the upper storms, the pressure crushes it. First it turns into graphite. Then it turns into diamond. It literally rains diamonds on Jupiter. Massive, uncut gems, falling like hail into the deep interior. But there is no one to catch them. They simply fall until they reach the core, where they likely melt into a sea of liquid carbon. At the very bottom of the well, what lies in wait? For decades, we thought there was a solid rock down here, a diamond the size of Earth. But the latest data from the Juno mission suggests something stranger. The core of Jupiter is fuzzy. The heat and pressure are so extreme, 30,000 degrees Celsius, that the rock has dissolved. The core is not a solid object. It is a diffuse, slushy soup of rock, ice, and metal spread out across half the planet. There is no center. There is only a cauldron. When you look at this chemical makeup, you realize something terrifying. Jupiter is not really a planet. It is a child that never grew up. It is made of the same stuff as the sun, hydrogen and helium. If Jupiter had been 80 times heavier, gravity would have ignited nuclear fusion in its core. It would have burst into light. Our solar system would have been a binary star system. We would have had two suns. Night would have never come, but it failed. It stopped growing. It remains a cold, dark giant, a star that never ignited. But in its failure, it became our savior. Jupiter is the vacuum cleaner of the solar system. Its gravity is so massive that it acts as a shield for the inner planets. It pulls comets and asteroids out of the dark, swallowing them whole, or flinging them out of the system entirely. Without this monster standing guard in the outer dark, Earth would have been pummeled by asteroids. Life might never have had the chance to begin. We live because the king eats the bullets meant for us. We have touched this world only once. In 1995, the Galileo spacecraft dropped a probe into the atmosphere. It wasn't a landing. It was a suicide mission. For 58 minutes, that brave little robot screamed data back to Earth. It told us about the winds, the lightning, the heat, and then the pressure became too much. The aluminum hull crumpled, the parachute melted, the probe was vaporized. Every atom of that machine is now part of the planet. We left a piece of humanity inside the storm. When you look at Jupiter through a telescope, do not just see a pretty striped ball, see a warning of scale. It reminds us that the universe is not built for us. It is vast, it is violent, it is indifferent. We cannot stand on Jupiter. We cannot conquer it. We can only watch it from the safety of the shore and be thankful that the beast stays in its cage.